Hello everybody and welcome back to another Ayoto Corporation video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Demetrios, the big cynical adventure from Cowcat Games, which is a French development studio. The game itself is the result of a successful Kickstarter campaign, and it's available on Steam or wherever else you want to get it for $10. Demetrios is a point-and-click adventure game. You're probably familiar with the type, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Leisure Suit Larry is sort of in that. No, actually not really. But, you know, it's a point-and-click adventure game. Although it's a bit odd in some senses. The game itself, instead of being sort of gated by your inventory, where you have to have a specific item and then you rub it against everything in the room until you get a specific result, Demetrios is more conversation-based, where progressing through the game you need to sort of talk to a person to unlock an option to do something to solve a puzzle, and then that will get you where you need to go. Like, for example, at one point later on in the game, you need to get a tennis ball from an ice cream guy. And in order to do that, you need to trick him into leaving his stand for a minute. But, you don't... Initially, when you get to that point, you're not sure what to do. So you're sitting there sort of rubbing everything against as hard possible, doing all that. So then what it turns out you're supposed to do is you're supposed to talk to another character and get her to move the ice cream man out of the way in order to get the tennis ball, but that's sort of out of the range of normal adventure, point-and-click adventure game gameplay. Instead of doing the item-based questing, you're gated by the conversations, which means that on your first time through, you're going to have to talk to everybody to get through all their conversations, and that can be kind of a pain, although the conversations are kind of funny. You play as Bjorn Thonin, who is basically an incredibly disgusting, I'm not going to say man-child, but he's just a slob, a general slob, and kind of an idiot. And the game plays up that fact a lot. Like, the part of the clue system in this game, if you get stuck, and you probably will because of the previously mentioned puzzle system, which is kind of weirdly gated, so you can pick up these cookies in every screen. Every single screen in the game has 3 cookies in it. And they're always some sort of disgusting thing, like there's one that's been stuck in toilet water, or it's been glued to a thing, or one's found on a corpse. That sort of thing. And you can pick them up, eat them, and every 3 you eat will basically solve the puzzle for you. And every time you do that, Bjorn will comment about it and become violently ill as he eats more and more cookies, to the point of having to throw up to make room for more cookies. That also ties into the humor of the game, which is, I guess I would best describe it as sort of like Family Guy style. There's a lot of fart jokes and poop jokes and that sort of thing, so it's all sort of base humor, and then there's a couple good, funny bits in it. Although most of the time, those are the ones that the game doesn't call out to you explicitly. Like the first time I saw that, I laughed my ass off. It's actually funny. Although a lot of the time it's just sort of, yeah, they're being kind of gross, and that's, I guess, the joke. So I'm on the whole not sold on the humor, but, you know, it does have its moments. I can't really talk too much about the story because it's an adventure game and the story is most of the game. Although, I'm probably turned off of it mostly because of the gross character than anything else, and the gross characters, really. If it were a bit more likable, then maybe I would have had a bit more of a fun time with the story and just how kind of dumb it was. Maybe if they played up how dumb the entire story was instead of just the characters. Because there's kind of cool bits. There's betrayal, there's crypt robbing, there's poop, but at the very least, the game doesn't overstay its welcome. on the store front itself, it says that the game is about 8 to 12 hours long, and yeah, I'd probably agree with that statement. 8 to 12 hours, probably 8 if you eat a lot of cookies, like I kind of did, because there's a few puzzles that are kind of a bitch to get through. I'm just saying, like, that there's a part where you have to sort of locate a specific square on a map, and it's just a pain in the ass to do. Because the map itself that you're working off of is not really clear on what you're supposed to do. The art style is also, I mean, it's a cartoonish, sort of hand-drawn comic book art style. It's not the best art style, and the developer probably knows this, but, you know, it's cheap, it's $10, and it was probably drawn in-house by one of the developers. It was a Kickstarter game that got 4,000 euros out of its 2,500 euro deal, or goal, so, you know, I can't really blame it too much for having low art assets. Plus, they do the job. You get a sense of the characters, and, like, the characters themselves kind of look gross if they're the gross characters, or they look fine if they're the normal people, quote-unquote. I'm not honestly sure what else to add about the game. For the most part, it's a fairly basic point-and-click adventure game, so if you want to have something that has a couple belly laughs, then certainly worth picking up for $10. And on occasion, there's cool little mini-games. For example, there's one point where you play pinball with a dead man's corpse. Although more specifically, in his will, he had his corpse be turned into a pinball machine, which is probably more interesting. Honestly, I think it's a fairly solid game. You could probably do worse for $10. I know I have. I've done worse for significantly more. And, like I said, there's the demo, so feel free to try it out for yourself before you buy the full game. So yeah, if you're a fan of point-and-click adventure games, give it a shot. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.